Hello and welcome. I am Scrapperlock, and this is Satisfactory Early Access Update 3. And we are back at our generator plant because those are the 24 coal generators I used to have, and these are the new 24 coal generators. I have doubled my power capacity to about 3600, exactly 3600 watts, megawatts. And I'm trying to climb down, and it's not letting me. There we go. Um, And so I just thought I would take you guys on a little tour and show you how things have changed. So if you remember right, this is our old generator plant, and we have pipes and we have coal coming in from underneath. And this is the land bridge that was bringing it over, and there were water extractors over here as well. But I decided I wanted to put more power up here because, among other things, I want to start making a lot of hypertubes, and those things eat power. And so, and we're going to need more assemblers and eventually manufacturers, and eventually we're going to need oil power. But for now, I want to use coal, and we have all this coal here that isn't being used for anything else. And I figured, well, if we put Mark II miners on it, we can double our output. So that is, in fact, what I have done. So I created another platform, and we had barely enough room to space it out the way I had done. Over here we have Mark II miners now, rather than Mark I. They're putting them out at 240 on the Type 3 belts, right? And then what I did was, for instance, over here we had 120 coming in and going over to the original plant, part of the plant. So I just split the 240 right here, put the 120 back up exactly the way it was, took the other 120 and brought it out here, and I put that belt in where this old Mark I used to go. Then I brought this out at 240 and split that, put one of them back where that old one used to go, and then the other half of this line plus this whole line, which is enough for 3 more sets of 8 generators, I then sent to our new generating plant, and you can see them coming in here and coming in over there and over there. So now one of the things I had to do was change up how I was going to do the piping, because the old way we would have had the walls back here and the pipes would have gone down to here, and then it would have gone back another one beyond here. But beyond here we have cliff, we have land, and I didn't want to have the land poking through. It does a little bit in a few spots, but I didn't want the land poking through here and looking ugly. So I said maybe I can put it forward, and it turns out it works pretty well, right? So I have the water lines coming in over here and shooting out, and it goes up, and I have the coal lines over here and coming over, and that goes up, and we're in pretty good shape. Now, in terms of getting the water over here, I had a whole bunch of trouble. And that's because there wasn't, once I put all the foundations on here to set everything up, right, we didn't really have much water over here. There's not enough room to put an extractor here. It won't let me put one here. That's the only place over there. You see it there, right there? That's the only place over here it would let me do it. It also gave me room for 3 over here, 2 over here. And I was able to put another one over on this side. So I needed 6 of them. And so what I ended up having to do was take several of the old extractors, this one and this one, were sending to this side of the plant. They're now sending over here. So the pipes are a bit of a mess, and I might work out exactly how to do them better later. And then what I had to do was add 2 more extractors over here, these 2, and I have them going into this side. And I have a few water storage tanks. There's really not enough room to put every generator on a water storage tank, which was what we should do just in case their power ever gets cut off. But it shouldn't be cut off. And now the total amount of power we're generating is 3,600. And we're not using a fraction of that. So we will be good for power generation for a long time to come. And I closed all this in so that it would look pretty decent. I mean, it's not perfect, but the idea is, you know, all the pipes and mess are concealed behind walls, underneath floors and stuff. So when you go out onto the generator floor, right, when you come out here, What did I do here? I did that one wrong. Alright, let's go over this way. When you come out here, it looks fine. It looks rather pretty. And you can see that it looks nice and clean. Now, there's a bit of an angle here. There wasn't any way to deal with that. I didn't want to pull the generator back further. That would have made this straight, but then the generator would have been hanging off the back, and I don't think that looks neat. I tried it, didn't like it. I prefer it this way. So we'll just live with a slightly angled pipes here. Everything's going great, and so we're all set. And I've got a whole bunch of storage containers here because I was bringing a bunch of stuff up here to build with, and I think I want to take some of the cable back, but not all of it. And I want to take my ammo back. And I think I want to take the slugs and this kind of stuff back, and my fuel, and I want my beacons back and my chainsaw. And let's see. I think I can leave most of the rest of this stuff here. We don't need coal for sure. And we don't need leaves. And I can take the steel, I guess. Let's take that, because we may need that to upgrade some other belts. I still need to make this pretty and clean some of this up, but for the most part I think this area looks pretty cool, and now we've got a huge generating plant with lots of power. So if we come over here, one of the things I was working on and then didn't have enough materials to finish further was building a hypertube to get us over here. And so we have to hoof it to here, but then from this point after this orange wall here, we can go right in, and boom. And now it doesn't quite get all the way because, again, I didn't have all the materials for it, but it's pretty cool, and it gets us most of the way, and it's a pretty fast trip. Honestly, I'd love teleport pads that just beam you over. Somebody made a mod for that in Ark, and it was really cool. You could teleport yourself and your animals. So that gets us back to the main base, and we're here now. And this is the floor where the assemblers are. And one of the things we're going to need to do is make at least one assembler, maybe two, for building motors, because we do have the ability to do that now. I've also built much of this assembler floor out. As you can see, I still have some to do, but a lot of it's finished now. So that's good. And a lot of this is just from me walking back and forth from place to place and just building as I go. Right? So like here, this is still going to need building, so we can keep going. And, you know, if this is like 8 rows, well, it only takes 8 or 9 trips back and forth to finish this up. We've got a whole bunch of statters and a whole bunch of rotors, and that's what you need to use to make motors. So let's get some space here, and maybe we'll put it over here. And so I can put a splitter out here that will split the statters and take them over, so that this thing, if I ever pull these guys out of here, because it's completely full, this thing will start up again, and it'll be able to bring everything in. Another thing I figured out is down here I'm going to have to move some stuff around because one of the stairwells, now that I have like an official way of how I'm going to do the, you know, the ramps going up and down right here, it's too close, so I'm going to have to move the cable a little bit too. So all that's going to have to be fixed. But right now what I want to do is get the motors started, because except for motors, we have all we need to get oil processing. And then I want to talk to you about exploration and the map, because I think we do have the map right now. And I'll talk to you about that in a bit, but first, where are our rotors? These are the rotors, right? So we're going to need to bring these over. So that's actually not so bad. We can split this here. And why didn't it snap on? Maybe it doesn't snap on if there's stuff on it. Oh no, it does. Okay. So we're going to split there. We're going to run the rotors over this way. And then we actually need rotors to build the assemblers. And we'll either have one or two, not sure how many. And then we're going to make a bunch of motors. And again, I really don't know where I'm going to put everything on this assembler floor, so this is all just temporary. Let's put it, I don't know, there. And let's see, what does it take? No, it makes, we're not making stators, we're making motors. So it takes 10 stators and 10 rotors a minute. Right, now this thing is producing how many stators? This thing still making stuff? No. This thing is making 5 stators a minute, so we really can only do 1. Right, it can't make, I mean, we can't go any faster than that because this already takes more than the number of stators we're making. Right? So 1 is enough. Instead of that old TV show, 8 is enough. 1 is enough. So we got to split this out. And so let's put a splitter down here. Take this out, take that out. Okay, so let's put a splitter down here. It's coming in that way. This is a Mark II belt. Is it really coming out that fast? Shouldn't be. Well, we can put a Mark II belt coming in here, and then a Mark I belt will go, whoops, this way. That should bring the stators in here, and there is already power right there. And now we just need the rotors to come in from the other side. Right? And then we're good to go. And then we will be making motors. Now, we already have the rotors and stuff in storage, so even though we're not making them that fast, right, this one's making 4 a minute, it's not making them fast enough to run that thing at full speed, right? What we would need is probably, oh, I don't know, 6 of these, and a couple of the stator makers just to run the motors. But for now, I think, you know, we don't need that many of them right now. We just need enough for the tech. And then eventually we're going to need them to make things of the higher level content, right? But for now, I'm just trying to get this over here. Hopefully relatively straight. Just try to get this over here so we can get the motors started. Because 50 isn't that many. This thing will be able to produce that in an hour or two, and I'm not even in an hour going to be ready for that because I've got a lot of building to do and a lot of exploring to do. So here we go, guys. We're now going to be building, whoops. That stupid lag from the autosave. I'm tempted to turn it off. because of that lag. But, you know, I don't want to lose a lot of work. Okay, so that's that, and now we need a storage container. We don't have pipes, so let's just do a regular storage container. We don't need that many motors right now. And there we go. So now, as soon as the rotors come in, we will be making motors, because the stators should be full up. This is a convoluted path to get here again, because I'm not sure where I'm going to put everything. Right, I've got to really figure out the layout here, guys, and to be honest, I'm not sure. I mean, some of it's going to depend on what do we need to make at the next levels and how much. I don't know how many motors we're going to need, right? We need 50 for this, but I don't know what we're going to need for everything else, because as I've said in the previous episode or two, I've never gotten this far before. I always stop and restart the game for one reason or another, and honestly, I'm almost tempted to do that here because I'm getting frustrated with the darkness in the base. If there was only a way to light it up, I wouldn't mind the higher levels of the base, but I'm starting to think really the best way to do this game is to just do everything out in the open so you can friggin' see at night. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to do was take you down to the MAM and take a look at the research and see how we can actually get hold of the exploration tier of stuff like the map. And then we'll take a look at the map. And see how that goes. And I really need to, this is another one of the things, I need to relocate the MAM upstairs to be near the hub, but I'm not sure where the hub is going to be in the end. And I've got a whole bunch of this level to still fill in, you can see. It's another project. So there's so many things to do. So one of the things was crystal oscillators. Let me take you over here first. And it turned out, I thought, once you got to the point where you needed 3 ingredients per item, that you couldn't make them in the, that you could not make them in the crafting station anymore. So, I thought I was going to have to get manufacturers, but it turns out you can craft them here. And so I was able to make enough crystal oscillators to get the research so that I could get the map. And so we should have that now. And yes, we do. Now the Z
the map has been unlocked.
Key is unlocked. Why is C and not M? I don't know. What does M do? Anything? Nothing, so I don't know. But that's it. So this is the map. And you can see where what we have seen so far, and where we have not been. Now, we actually started. Well, there's a pod over there. We started like over here somewhere, right? There's Beggar's Canyon, Lake Placid. Oh, so we started over here somewhere. And I need 21 rotors for this pod, so it's a good thing I've got rotors. We can go over there and do it, right? So now, like, this is the nice thing. You can sort of figure out where everything is. We know we've got a pod over here. These are the Crater Lakes. So this pod we've already done, I think. We can get rid of that beacon. So this is where the generating plant is. And you can see where we've gone and where we haven't. And so some of these areas are black because they're above me and I haven't gone up there to look down on them. Right? But one of the reasons we can see so much of this is because we have been up so high, we've been able to see a lot. So now we have the map, and we can wow, you can even like ask it for the particular things. That's really good. So this is the map, and now we can continue exploring, which is pretty cool. Also in Quartz, we can make radar technology. I don't know what that does. We can get the Explorer. And so this is where we're going to need more crystalline oscillators. 50 here, 10 there, 100 there, and 100 there for radio control units. So there's a lot that we need. And we're going to need stators for nutritional mixture. So there's a whole lot of stuff we can still get. And one of the things I haven't started making actually is fabric, which requires leaves and mycelium. So one of the things we need to do is actually go collecting mycelium and getting fabric and stuff like that. But for now, I want to actually try to finish all this emptiness up here. Look at all this. It still hasn't been closed in, and I'm going to need to move this thing because it's so tall. Eventually that's got to be moved over by the hub. But before I do that, I got to figure out exactly where I want to put the hub permanently. So I got a lot of building to do, and we will do that eventually, guys. But I just wanted to take you on a little tour and show you where we are. I think that's probably enough for now. Until next time, I am Scrapperlock, and this is Satisfactory.